Good day and welcome to another edition of our daily preview of the racing, where we will be racing from Fairview today, the 3rd of August, on the poly track. Before we go and analyze the form for today, let's look at a few things. If you want to advertise, we are looking for a sponsor to sponsor this daily preview. Also, just for the new persons in this, who's watching this video for the first time perhaps, what Outsider Genie do is we do form analysis. We are not tipsters. We do a form analysis, and from the form analysis, we give you selections. We give you a selection that we think that can win the race. We give you two selections, which is normally outsider selections, which you can then put into your play with whatever play you do. You play a PA, pick six, quartet, and you take our selections, you add them to your own selections, and thereby you can stand a chance, should one of those outsiders arrive, either win or place, you will be then collecting the bigger dividend. So for you to receive our daily preview and notification when we post a video, just click on the subscribe button and ring the bell, and you will be notified every time that we post a video. We are also on Twitter, social media, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Now, on the 1st of August, in race 7, we give our members a horse with the name of VANDAH'S Spirit at 16-1. Now, one of my members did got a big win because he followed my advice. He took all to come. Our Precious Jewel, Waldorf, Astoria, and VANDAH'S Spirit. Well, our Precious Jewel was our best bet for the day. Then he took my outsider and he added in Waldorf, Astoria. And he took a bet, and if you can see here, here's the proof. He won a bet of 15,200 Rand. So isn't that worthwhile to subscribe to Outsider Genie's services? We offer a service where you subscribe and you get a race-by-race selection, outright winner, and 2 possible outsider selections, value bets. We give you normally 6-1 and longer, that is outsiders. We give you the best bet of the day. And please note, I don't tip you an 8-10 shot. You can find that yourself. You don't need that. But to find the outsider or the best bet, you need a genie. Now, on the 21st of July, we give you a best bet for the day, which was 13-2 at the time of our selection. And that horse, that best bet of the day, won by 4 lengths. So there you have a best bet that you can make money on, and you don't have to worry about the 8-10 or the even money shot. We also give you suggested trifecta and quartet selections, and sometimes we catch these new payouts because we do include the outsiders. The same goes for the PA and the pick six, which we normally also give you affordable, around about 200 Rand a day for the PA and the pick six. And our rates are 500 per month, and you can contact us on 083-585-5113 to subscribe. Just to show you, if you do subscribe, you will receive a daily sheet looking like this on our WhatsApp group, which will give you all the play, all the selections for the day, all on one page. So now let's move on to today's racing, where we have racing from Fairview on the poly track. So let's look at the betting on the first race. The betting on the first race is number 10, 12-10. What a Cracker up early 3-1. Jeffrey Paris 4-1. Surfer Africa 12-1. Shades of Blue 14. GENIE Express 14 and 20-1, and longer the rest. I just saw and see now. Number 9 Private Initiative is scratching. So let's have a look. I want to scroll down to horse number 10. Number 10, What a Cracker, is a 8-fold path, just newly turned 3-year-old by trainer Gavin Smith. Got Wire Ramzan as a jockey and getting -4. This horse has run well, and I do feel that the 4 kilograms, then the horse now carrying 53, will make a huge difference in this race. I do just want to warn you guys that remember this time of the year, the newly turned 3-year-olds is running against 4-year-olds. That is now, some of them are hard knocking 4-year-olds. You know, for a 3-year-old to beat a 4-year-old, because the 3-year-old is out on the weight for age scale as well, the 3-year-old must be a little bit above average to beat an average maiden. But when you get an average maiden running against the average 3-year-old, I would say probably out of 10, 8 out of 10 times, the average 4-year-old will win the race. So be careful, especially where you get races where the 3-year-olds are priced up early, you know, at the short price. On Friday, there was a 3-year-old who was favored, was carrying 61 kilograms against some hard knocking other horses. And I said in my preview, this horse will not win. The horse didn't even run a place, but it was priced up favored by the bookies. So if you see a newly turned 3-year-old carrying 60, 61 top weight in a handicap, be careful, because it is still early for those horses to take on the hard knocking horses. I can't say they cannot win, but it's going to be difficult. So let's look at some other. Number 8, GENIE Express, also has been running there and thereabouts. Can surprise, put into your quartets. So let's move on to number. I want to move on to number 1. Straits Blues form is a bit different. Hasn't run the last 2 races not too well, but the Duncan McKenzie stable is in form, so maybe go into the back end of your quartets. Then we have number 2, Jeffrey Paris. Ziesman Oosthuizen still looking for that first win in PE, but I'm sure it's going to happen any day. Jeffrey Paris, I think, will go close. Has run 2 very good races on the poly, and I think that this 4-year-old can give the 3-year-old a hard time. Definitely a horse not to leave out of your calculations. Then there is some other horses. Number 9 was also one of my selections, but that has now subsequently been scratched. So let's move on to race number 2. Race number 2 is a maiden plate. Over 1,200 meters for fillies and mares. So let's look at the betting. The betting is as follows. Number 2, All the Stars, 13-10. Off Pat, 4-1. Seka, 7-1. Chasing Green, 10-1. 14-1. Sunshine Beat, Electric Daisy, and 60-1, and Better the Rest. So let's have a look at the form in race number 2. Here we have number 1, Chasing Green. Now, Chasing Green is a little bit, is 10-1 in the betting. This horse has been running around there and thereabouts. It's was first in Cape Town, and while in Cape Town, it ran 3.75 behind Captain Anne Bonny, which proved to be a very good horse in PE as such. Then she ran a bit indifferently, then moved to Joburg, and now finds her back in PE. But I do feel that this horse has running in some fair sorts and can be better than the form currently shows. Here you'll see she was 13 lengths behind Karaluma. Karaluma ran second in a grade 1. Not that I say that she can win because she ran 13 lengths behind Karaluma, but she ran against some decent horses, and I'm thinking Chasing Green will be in the winner's box soon, if not today. Then my selection is race number 2, All the Stars. It's a Captain of L by a Sudden and Low Mare. And this horse has run a few good races. Last time out, I think the 1400 might have been too far. Now today, back over 1,000, and I'm sure this horse will give a good account of herself, running on this course over the on 1,000 meters. Just run out of it by Fairy Godmother, but I'm sure we'll go close today. Then also a horse we want to look at. There is some other horses with chances. This horse from Duncan McKenzie, Sunshine Beach, coming from Cape Town, had some fair, but in different form, difficult to judge, and also drawn 10, which is not in its favor on the poly track. So let's just move on to some other selections I want to look at. Number 8, Sheena Bean. This is also a 4-year-old filly, but only had 3 runs, but also drawn wide, but can improve to be involved in the placing. So, mate, you won't want to include that into your quartet. Here we have number 9, Raincap. I don't know what to think about it. This horse came from Australia, and it's difficult to believe that that Australian horse can fare so bad on its first run. I mean, it was so bad that someone sent it immediately to PE after the race. So, but I would be very skeptical, very careful. Put this into your quartets, because this horse might find, you might find that the horse might find, favor the Polly. It has drawn number 5, and I just find it difficult to believe that first run. So maybe give it another chance. If this comes in, and you go because of my selection that I gave you, you'll be standing in a payout queue laughing. But anyway, then we get to number 10, Sheka, also 3-year-old, Flying the Flag. Flying the Flag is a first season stallion, but unfortunately, the season is now over, and he hasn't really came to the party. It's hard to decide, But it's also had some fair runs last time out, ran 20 lengths behind, but I had a fair first run on the Polly, so maybe worth another chance. Here we have Electric Daisy. I really think the Electric Daisy, normally the Kiraris do run well on the sand. This is by Silvano Mir, and this horse is definitely going to show improvement today. It's drawn free, Buena Grella on top. Please have a look out for that one. Then we move on to race number 3. Sorry, I just wanted to touch on this horse. I forgot about this horse. 14 off pat, noble tune, but the problem with this horse, drawn 11, did run 2 very good races, one on the Polly and one on the turf, so definitely will be in the reckoning, but I do think the draw 11 might be a bit of a disadvantage. Therefore, I favor number 2, which is better drawn in this race. Then we move down to race number 3, which is a merit rated 74 handicap over 1,000 meters. So let's have a look at the betting here. The betting is as follows. Lumiere 28 to 10, 5 to 1 Tiger Star, 13 to 2 Angel Bouquet, Thomas Selby 7 to 1, 8 to 1 Basilica Santo, 10 to 1 Microbe, and 12 to 1 and better the rest. So let's have a look here. Some is 1 or 2 interesting. Generally, the fields today are large, difficult, so it's not a great card to put your house on. So please be careful in your play today. Here we have number 1, Angel Bouquet. And number 1, Angel Bouquet is definitely not without a prayer. It is a little bit down in class because we're working here with a 67. Has competed in a little bit higher class in Scottsville. Will be his first time here on the Polly in PE. And I'm always scared of horses who runs the first time on the Polly in PE. So watch out for this one. I see this one ran close behind Coyote Girl. Coyote Girl has won a few years in PE, so that might be a yardstick that you can measure this horse against in terms of ability. Then we move down to number 2, Thomas Selby. Number 2, Thomas Selby is from the Janssen van Vieren. He moved here about a year ago, ran some good races, always there and thereabouts, has competed in a higher class where he didn't fare too bad. Last time out in a 76, ran 4 lengths behind Sullenberger. Has run the odd fastest 400 to finish. So this horse likes to come from the back, and yeah, it is it's well drawn at 2. This is my choice to win this race. Microbe surprised last time, 125 to 1. Yeah, it can go in again, but unfortunately today it's drawn 13. Last time it was drawn 1, and that could be his downfall. I'm not going to touch on all the horses. Evermore has not shown much after the maiden. Lumiere is still a young filly, 4-year-old. Only had 6 runs. Did win in Cape Town, then came to PE on the turf. Ran third to escape to Vegas. Drawn free can definitely be a factor in this company on the Polly. Then I also want to point out number 8, Casual Wear. This horse is an ex-Paul Peter, has run against some decent horses in in Joburg, and has had a few runs here, and it's always, like 5-6 lengths behind. But one of these days, this horse is going to pop up. I don't say it will be today, but put this in your little black book. Unfortunately, today it's drawn 11. But with Akistradom is in form, so he is winning with horses that you normally would not consider, so be careful for that horse. Here we have number 9, Tiger Star. Now, Tiger Star is a 7-year-old mare. One would have thought that this mare is already in a paddock carrying a foal or two, but yes, Tiger Star still racing. Only had 8 races in her life, so surely this horse has got some problems. But the thing is, when she do run, she's very fast over the first 900 meters or so, and always gets runs out of it. But I think last time out, after another long race from September to July, the horse ran third, faded over the last, last 100 meters. But now today, with the -4, this horse do come into the reckoning. It's drawn midfield in 7, so definitely a horse that can pop up. I'm sure they're trying to get another win out of this mare before she goes to the paddock to start breeding. So that is then for me race number 3. Let's move on to race number 4, where we have a merit rated 66 handicap over 1400 meters, Class E, merit rating 61. Let's look at the betting quickly. The betting is as follows. Race 4, number 8, Chainsaw, 92. They're betting 92 the field here. That shows you how open this race is. 92, Human Me, Bengal Crimson 5-1, 6-1, Frankie 2 Shoes, Sherwood Forest 10-1, Duology 12-1, and number 2, Final Assembly 12-1, 60-1, and longer the rest. Now, this race, could this be finally Mr. Zietsman first winner in PE? Because I really like this horse. This horse came from Scottsville. This horse has run against a little bit stronger opposition. It's drawn 1, getting -4. Come on, Ziets, bring him home today. And I do feel that Final Assembly is a worthy each way bet in this race. Do not leave this horse out. I do feel this horse has run against some decent opposition, often winning a maiden last year in August. It's now nearly a year ago that she won a maiden, and then subsequently she won under Polly over the 1400 meters. So the distance is no problem, and I do feel that this horse will run a very forward race today. So let's look at some other selections in this race that might have a chance. Bold Blangari won his maiden last time. Now, I have a policy that I normally don't include the horses that has just won a maiden, but I must say in the last few weeks I have burned my fingers a few times, but I'll just stuck to my system. It's worked for me in the long run. Yeah, you do get the exceptions to the rule. Frankie 2 Shoes comes from Durban. The day he won there at 12-1, I actually got about 16-1. I backed him that day. Now finds himself in PE where he ran sort of a okay race, ran on a little bit at the end. It was too far back on the poly, so obviously in with a chance. Here we have number 6, Bengal Crimson. Did not run too bad. First run after a rest. After the rest, so it was a second run, running on at the little bit at the end, 3.5 lengths behind Mio Grande. Here we have number 7, Tattoo. Unfortunately, this horse is drawn 14, and that is a pity because this horse really ran a good race last time behind Hidden Influence at 50-1. And I do feel that the 1400 meters will suit him better because he's had 2 wins, 2 second and 2 fourths over the 1400 meters. It's also Kimberly horse. But yeah, keep your eye out on this one today. Tactool is in the betting. I think it's about 10-1 or something like that. Yeah, 16-1. So include in your backends of your quartets can make a difference on the payout. Here we have number 8, Chainsaw, the favorite. Drawn 3, Kennel Mini for Tara Lang. This horse has been there and thereabouts. Last time out, just got beaten on the line by Hidden Influence. But this horse looks to me like, he sometimes battled to put two good races in a row together, but I do see that he's run a fourth, a fifth, and a second in his last three races. This will be his third race after the race, so definitely in with a chance. Number 9, Human Me, again, straight on stable, has run some decent races the last two races, also a factor. Either Heathcote at this stage, we'll have to see and wait for improvement. 11, Sir Goffrey, is always like finishing, but looks second fastest, third fastest. Last time out behind Tony Jet, lost 2 lengths, and he actually lost his race at the start. So yeah, maybe you want to put into your back end of your quartets. So then let's move on to the next race, which is race number 5. We have a merit rating 82 handicap over 1400 meters class C, rating 78. Let's look at the betting on race number 5. Race number 5, here we have number 5 Philos, 12 to 5, 28 to 10 Fee 5 Fum, 5 to 1 Dubula, 10 to 1 Coyote Creek, 10 to 1 On the Bayou, Electric Magnetic 12 to 1, and 14 to 1 and longer the rest. So the first horse I want to look here at is number 3. And this horse's name is Fee Fi Fu Fum. I'm glad I'm not a commentator to have to pronounce that. Now this horse has had underscores 2 runs, 2 wins, unbeaten. Take you 28 to 10. Help yourself. I'm not sure if this horse is going to be 28 to 10 when they jump. He's had 2 runs on the poly. He's won well. Last time out, he ran in a similar division and just got run out of it over the 1200 meters by Microbe. And I'm sure today he will give a good account of himself over the 1400 meters. He's drawn well. Greef Stable is in form. This is my best bet for the day. So that is. Then let's look at some other horses in this race. Number 2 is Dubula. Dubula also is running well. Has also had 2 seconds on this 1400 meters. Unfortunately, drawn a little bit wide on 10, and that could be his undoing. But last time out ran well behind Duke of Cards. Duke of Cards runs in the future today in the World FSB Challenge, and I actually do like it a little bit. So Dubella, not to discard, definitely a horse to include into whatever play you do. And then here we have number 1, Coyote Creek. Coyote Creek has had 4 wins on the poly. He's had 12 starts, 4 wins, and he's now back on the poly after 2 runs on the turf. So definitely, when Agrella is on board, drawn to, definitely a horse that you cannot discard. And I think Coyote Creek might be the biggest threat to number 3, P5 Fu Fum. So there are some other horses that can upset the apple cart. Master Newton, Gavin Smith, but this horse is never even placed on this distance. So, and it's draw 12, maybe not today. But another horse that there's definitely a danger to the horse that I already mentioned is number 5 Philos. But also he's running this course for 2 seconds, a third and a fourth, but he still have to win. But he has won over this distance. T Gould riding, drawn free, definitely in with a chance. Has run against some strong opposition. Purple Diamond came out to win again. Lion King came out to win again, and Duke of Cards, as we said, is running in the future American Landing. And I would think that one of this horse will surely be one of the biggest dangers to Fee-Fi Fu Fum. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting contest. Then I want to move on to the next race, which is race number 6. You guys, you'll see I'm hurrying up my thing because the guy said if I can keep it a little bit shorter because sometimes my things is a bit too long. So that's why I'm rushing through the card so that I can, see if we can make it a little bit shorter. But you can't make it too short because then you miss some of the things. So it's a catch-22 situation, in or egg situation. Race 6 at the office 5-2, at the opera 7-2, Sark 6-1, Quest 6-1, Giacomo 6-1, 7-1, Crystal Stream 14-1, and longer the rest. So here we have the two ads against each other. So let's look at these two ads. At Fairview, we find at the office and we find at the opera. They both at Fairview. So at the office has run some decent races. We are running here in a D division 63. So yes, they run against some stronger opposition last time out. Coming from Kenilworth, today's his first race here, and surely must have a chance. Stallone Naidu on board, drawn 4, definitely in with a chance. Here we have at the number 1, Crystal Stream did beat at the Opera last time, but on the weight turnarounds, at the Opera is going to be much closer, so this is going to be a closer contest between Crystal Stream and at the Opera. So let's look at the Opera. And at the Opera has got the advantage of getting -4. Has had some decent races. Last time ran over 3,200 meters in a small future. I think the distance was too far for this horse, and back to his class, back to the distance that he likes, 2,200. And I think at the Opera will definitely be there when the camera, when the photos are taken at the winning post. I see both of them are sons of Atto. Yeah, this is a stallion that I think has not lived up to the expectations at this stage. He's thrown some here and there a decent horse, but generally not much going on around Atto. Ice Baron can run a place, has run the first race after the maiden, and also ran in the future. Now down in class, can perhaps improve. Number 5, Sark Silvano. This horse is impeccably bred. If you look at his breeding, Silvano by Ida de Victoria, they paid 1.3 million for this horse on the national hearing sales in 2016. They've only recruited about 10%. Yeah, definitely this horse is going to battle to find his his form. But if you want to see here, this horse has had 5 runs on this. 1 win, 1 second, and a 4th. The interesting thing about Sark is that Sark was with the Cass Robinson in Cape Town, and then she came to Montana Turner, where she won a race with Bernard Fader on board, and then was sold to Mr. DeToy and moved to Kimberley. Now it found it back into in PE again, and it ran a very good race last time out, 0.25 behind Barberton Silver. So definitely a horse to keep your eyes out, to keep it a lookout for. So then let's move on to race number 7, where we have the future race. Now, the future race today is the World Sports Betting East Cape Poly Challenge, non-black type, over 1,600 meters. Let's look at the betting, where the betting is as follows. Madam Speaker, 12-10. American Landing, 92. Earth Hour, 5-1, 10-1, Toltec, 12-1, Duke of Cards, which I've now mentioned a few times, 14-1, and longer the rest. Now, the interesting thing about this, if this race was over 1,400 meters, I would have said that Madam Speaker is definitely a certainty in this race. Sorry, I just want to get back to race number 8, race number 7. Let's look at number 8, Madam Speaker, first. Now, Madam Speaker is a 5-year-old mare who only cost 25,000 rand. What a buy! Has now nearly won 1 million rand. This horse has had 23 runs in her life, never been further than the first 4. She's at 10 wins, 9 seconds, 3 thirds, and 1/4. Now, if you see, she's had 9 seconds. Of that 9 seconds, 5 came on this distance. I think the 1,600 meters, this mare gets the finish, gets the 1,600 meter just. if this was a 1400 meters race over, but you can see she, the 1600 meters last time out against Elusive Heart, she looked like she had it all sewn up, and Elusive Heart ran her down, winning by a length. So if Madam Speaker was over the 1400 meters today, I would have said race over, bank the money. And she is also drawn 10, which is also not in her advantage. She haven't been drawn that wide for a long time, as you can see here, except here 8 out of 8 on a Fairview 1600 meter. That's not too bad. But on a poly, draw 10 definitely is a bit of a stretch. So now, which horse are we going to find that can run her down? And I've decided that I'm going to stick my neck out and go with number 2, American Landing. American Landing has been running well, but it is, as you can see, it's his first time on the poly. He hasn't run on the poly yet. But by dynasty out of Sports World, I don't foresee a problem. He has won over this distance. He's been placed over this distance, but he's drawn 9. So that can also be a bit of a problem. So they're jumping next to each other. But so that is my selection. But there are many horses with chances. If Alva have beaten American Landing over the 1600 meters, but that was on the turf track. He's ran close to Madam Speaker last time out. American Landing didn't show. Bold Coast has also been there and thereabouts. Toltec, I think if there's a horse that can beat both of them, it is Toltec. Toltec last time out ran 0.55 lengths behind Madam Speaker, ran on well over the 1400 meter. The 1600 meter will definitely suit him. Course and distance 1 from 1. So you would like to maybe include this into your play somewhere. So there are many horses with chances. I just want to, since I've spoken a few times about him, let's move down to Duke of Cards. Duke of Cards is carrying 56.5, not well in the weights, but this looks like an improving horse. It's been running well on the poly. Course and distance 1 run, 1 winner. The course 5 runs, 4 wins and a second. He likes the poly, so this is also can be a horse that can pop up and win this race. Now we move on to the last race, which is the race 8. And race 8 is a Phyllis Mare 68 handicap over 1600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Where the betting is number 2, Nippy Sweetie, 29 to 20. 92 Via Vapia Pa, 8 to 1 Mistress of Means, Viva La Blue 8 to 1, 10 to 1 Hollywood Thunder, Mary Lee 14 to 1, Overcount 16 to 1, Love Talk 16 to 1, Big Myth 16 to 1, 21 and longer the rest. Here I want to go down to number 9. I think it's number 9. Let me just quickly make sure. Big Myth. Big Myth is from the Aki Stradum stable, which is currently in form. This horse is drawn 1. This horse has been running there and thereabouts, having here and there run against bigger, stiffer opposition. Here he's running in a 65 average merit rating, but they run against a 74 Princess Khaleesi. Princess Khaleesi has actually won again after that. Tony Jet has won again. So it has shown some glimpse when it was with Sean Terry of ability. But unfortunately, in 27 outings, only had 2 wins. But I'm expecting Haki Stradum to get this horse ready, and he's going to strike with this horse. If it's not today, it's going to be sometime in the future. But with this drawn 1, I think this horse will definitely be involved in a finish today. Currently at 16 to 1, very nice each way bet. Viva Le Blue, but unfortunately drawn 11. Also runs well on the poly course and distance. 3 runs, 1 win, 1 second distance. 8 runs, 1 win, 2 seconds. So Viva Le Blue also likes that. Has been run well last time out on the poly over 1400 meters. Now running a 1600 meters, which will be in his favor because this horse likes to come from the back. He's had a few fastest 400 to finish or second fastest 400 to finish. That's Viva Le Blue. Let's look at some other horses in this race. Number one did win its maiden and then didn't show much behind Crystal Stream. Maybe wait for improvement. Number two, Nippy Sweetie is the favorite. This horse is drawn 16. Okay, but there will only be 14 runners. So this horse is drawn 14 out of 14. Even if it's a very good horse, I'm telling you now, this horse will find it difficult to win from that draw. If it does, then that is a horse to follow. But it ran second behind Still Tapping. Still Tapping did win here last week. So the horse is not without a chance. And if Jeffrey Paris wins today, that will strengthen the form. But a 14 out of 14 is going to be a problem. Then we have Free Via Pa. This is in a Hackett Stradom stable. I've been waiting for this horse to run and win its second race. And then when it did, I missed it last time. I had another horse favorite. Wayne Grella riding from draw 7. The horse can come in again, but I'm not sure whether this horse can do this distance. Has tried this distance before, but never run well over the 1600 meters. Therefore, I think the 1400 meters might be his optimum distance, but we'll have to see if I'm right or wrong. Then I love this horse, number 4, Love Talk. Love Talk has always been there and thereabouts. You know, he's running, except for last time out, after the race, he just faded over the 1600 meters. But again, drawn 14, this will probably draw 12, and that might be a problem. But this is a nice horse to include into your quartets, trifectas, and I think it's also a decent price. So Love Talk 16 to 1. If this horse arrives in the placings in a quartet, then you can stand in the payout queue laughing and thanking outside the Genie. Let's have a look at if there's some other horses that we need to be on the scent, not showing much at the moment, maybe pass by for now. Believe the Best didn't show much last time behind Via Pia, wait for improvement. Mistress of Means, also drawn wide, drawn 12, will probably jump at number 10. Has been showing a little bit of form and then came back 2 races last time out, improved under 1600 meters. So definitely a horse that can pop up. You might want to include that. Then we have number 8, Hollywood Thunder. Now Hollywood Thunder did win a maiden last time out, but getting the -4 maybe can involve. But yeah, as I said, my policy, when a horse wins a maiden, I wait for the horse to improve. So that brings us to the end of today's analysis. I do hope you can find a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.